So, when it comes to marine audio, there certainly is no shortage of brands. But how comforting is it when there is a brand that is recognizable by your customer when they see it for the very first time or for their third time? Who knows? Because Kenwood has been in the game for quite some time. And let me tell you, when it comes to marine audio, they've got a full selection waiting to be discovered. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Kenwood Marine Audio. And it starts now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another CMA Connected. Here talking about marine audio, which is a very important category for so many of you dealers out there. Of course, we're in the spring of the year, and this is when the good gets going. People are taking their boats out, and they want to have tunes on the water. Today, the brand in question is, of course, Kenwood. But did you know they have a complete line of products specifically engineered for the marine environment? Today, joining us will be Josh Bowen, their product specialist, to talk to us a little bit about what Kenwood does when it comes to the marine audio space. Now, Josh, Kenwood obviously is no stranger to the market. It's very recognizable. Of course, you guys are very well known in your speakers for car audio and your amps and of course, your source units. But how serious does Kenwood actually take the marine audio space?
So marine audio is absolutely something that we take incredibly serious. Throughout the years, we've had products that have continued to be offered for this, but in a much lighter footprint than what we're looking at these days. This is an area of our department that we're continuing to expand and grow. And there's a lot of new advancements that have came over the last couple of years that I love talking about.
All right, Josh. Well, let's get into it. And for the record, when we're talking about a full offering, we're not only talking about source units. Of course, we would expect that. But we're going to break it all down for you guys. We're going to be talking about source units today. We're going to be talking about speakers. We're going to be talking about subwoofers and, of course, amplifiers. So let's start at the very top because there is some pretty slick looking source units that Kenwood has to offer for marine. So break it down for us. What is available currently from the Kenwood lineup in the source unit category?
So source units are an incredibly important part of any installation, right? Because that's where the signal begins. And it's not something that we're just getting into, right? We've had our singled in category of marine rated source units for quite some time now. Now, these have been offered in mechless configurations or having that CD option, but keep in mind these are conformal coded. That doesn't mean that these are a slouch in their category though, right? Even with these singled in models, we have some really unique advantages, like our wired remotes, being able to wire in up to 6 of those for the traditional analog type connection, but even being able to have that nicer connection with the LCD remotes. A lot of people don't know we can actually wire in 3 of those LCD remotes to one of those single DIN receivers too. So we've got a lot of offerings in that side of it. But if we're looking for something that's more rough and rugged for those harsher environments, that's where our new gauge style receivers come into play. Because these are IP rated products that have built-in features that are incredibly resourceful for some of these harsher environments. For example, like a built-in global weather band. That is an incredibly important one if you ever find yourself outside of your traditional connection, whether it's your cell phone or AM/FM type reception. So we've got a lot of great offerings that are found just in the receiver side of this. But like you said, Ben, we have a wide variety of several other features and products that are found now in our marine section.
Josh, I do have to comment. You're mentioning about the newer style, more rugged environment, gauge style source unit. I want to point out that new KMR XM500 is a sexy looking unit. I think it just represents the Kenwood brand so well in its design, the way the menus work, the full color display, the Sirius XM, and even the equalization benefits of that unit is going to fit the need of most of your installs if you're looking for something that can fit in that type of space. So definitely a big shout out for that KMR XM500. Okay, let's move on to speakers and subwoofers because this is a huge category as well. You got to have some output here, and Kenwood comes to the table with some unique offerings when it comes to speakers and subwoofers.
That's absolutely correct, Ben. And when we look at our speakers, it's important to note that we have a type of marine speaker for every customer, regardless if it's the customer coming in just looking for a deck and four, or if it's a customer coming in looking for some beefier marine speakers that you can put on an amplifier and even expand with a sub. Now, something that's really unique about our marine speaker lineup is our built-in LED system. And what's beautiful is that same system expands to the subwoofer as well. So let me give you an example. Say you run power and ground to one speaker. We have a pre-wired 4-pin harness that simply daisy chains from one speaker to the next one, allowing you to complete that LED installation with a breeze. Now, the subwoofer itself absolutely packs a punch as well. I'm very impressed with it. It's one of those products, whenever you hold it, you're just like, this feels great. and it delivers the sound as well to the quality of the appearance at the exact same time. So speakers and subs are something that we have a wide variety of, and something you should definitely check out if you haven't already.
Yeah, Josh, and when it comes to the selection of speakers and subwoofers, one thing I do want to point out is these subwoofers are engineered to play at their best in an infinite baffle scenario, which that's great. You don't need an enclosure and will work perfectly in that marine environment to get those low frequencies in open air. All right, moving on to our next category, let's talk about amplifiers because, of course, we need some juice to power these bad boys. What do we have in the category of amplifiers to power all these drivers?
So when we look at our amps, we have two different types that are important to know. And figuring out which type is something that you gauge by your conversation with your customer. Now, one of those types of amplifiers we have are our fully submergible IP67 rated amps. Now, these are salt resistant, UV resistant, rust resistant, vibration proof. I mean, anything you could be looking for in an amplifier that's going to be subjected to the worst environments, these products will shine. It's also worth noting that we've got a really cool one that has a wired Bluetooth controller, so it does not require a source unit, which makes it great for boats, side-by-sides, and even with some creative thinking, classic cars, right? Being able to expand beyond that because they are resistant to all of those elements. Now, the other side of that life is if your customer comes in and they're looking for more of a sound quality experience, that's where our XM model amplifiers come into play. These have our high-res audio certification on a conformal coated board. Very similar to our Exelon amplifiers, the Exelon Motorsports check off all those boxes we're looking for. We have these offered in a 4-channel configuration, a monoblock, and a 5-channel. My personal favorite thing to point out about these being an installer prior is the one-sided connections, which make your installation a breeze whenever you're working with tighter, confined spaces found in a lot of boats. So check those out if you haven't seen those yet either, because they're an awesome product too.
Well, if that footage of the amplifier completely submerged in water doesn't get the point across, Josh, I don't know what will. And you're right. If you have those harsh environments, definitely go for that model. If not, sound quality, I think you said it right there. High res audio could be a feature that your customer is very interested in. So, um, since we're talking to dealers, recently Kenwood launched a new display program with some really attractive looking displays. We'll show some footage of it here. Talk to us a little bit about what type of display programs are available for Kenwood Marine Audio to dealers.
I'm glad you brought up the displays. That's something that we put a lot of thought into. We wanted to design a display that dealers would want to have in their stores, right? With an overall appealing appearance, making sure that it kind of draws that customer's eyes. And I personally believe that we achieved that with these. What's really cool about them, though, is we have different segments, and you can purchase them based off of which segments are appropriate to your selling style. Now, obviously, it goes without saying, we want you to sell everything, Kenwood, right? So for those types of dealers, we have configurations that have the marine section, the motorsports section, Exelon reference section, and our Harley products that we've talked about on here on CMA before too. But we understand that not every dealer wants to go all in on a display like that. So what I would recommend doing is reaching out to your local rep, having a conversation with them about which display makes sense for your store and your showroom, and then getting that set up, because this is a great way to catch your customers' eyes, bring them in, and show them that product on a nice, appealing display.
All right, well, there you have it. We took you through the entire collection of marine audio goodies coming to you from Kenwood with the different variety of source units going to speakers and subs, and of course, amplifiers, and even talked about some potential display options that you could have to upgrade and enhance your showroom. Now, overall, I have to say, like I said at the top, Kenwood is a recognizable brand. How many customers have you sold Kenwood radios to that would certainly appreciate being shown another category that they may now be interested in marine audio, for example? So, to wrap this up, Josh, talk to us a little bit about the value of that recognized brand that is Kenwood, and tell us a little bit about the future of this category, or shall I say, Kenwood's commitment to marine audio moving forward.
You know, Ben, to answer that, I've got to kind of add a little bit of a personal side of it. When I got my job here at Kenwood, it was like a dream come true because I grew up loving this brand. And I understand that I'm a little bit younger than some of the people that are out buying car stereo these days, but it's cool because even them, regardless if you're from the 80s or the 70s or 60s or whatever year it is you got into this, Kenwood has been around through all of that, right? I mean, we're a company that was founded in 1946. Now, traditionally, obviously, it was, transmitters and radios and things like that. But as car audio grew, this name grew with it. So when it comes to anything car audio, anyone that's ever been involved, they know and recognize the name Kenwood. That helps to to relieve a little bit of that tension that we find sometimes whenever customers are walking into any kind of a sales environment, right? Nobody likes to be sold to, but when they can do it with something that's familiar, it's an added bonus to make that sales transaction that much simpler. And when we're talking about marine, I think the question you asked is the future of this category. And that's something that we're devoting a lot of attention to. We've already got several products, some of them even snuck out in some of our catalogs, that we plan to continue to develop, grow, and enhance our offerings in the marine category so that we can provide the best value to our dealers. Ultimately, having a brand that's an all-in-one type brand, right? From the front of the car to the back of the car, the front of the boat to the back of the boat, or whatever vehicle it is a better offering for all of our retailers. Being able to sink more eggs in one basket, right? You get better advantages by supporting the brands that support you at the same time. And we want to make sure we continue to develop that with a heavy focus on our marine category.
And that was Josh Bowen, the product specialist from Kenwood, joining us today, giving us the breakdown on everything you need to know about Kenwood and marine audio this season. Now, my 2 cents on this is simple. It's like Josh said, this is a recognizable brand. It's easy to transition this. Hopefully, there are customers that you've already serviced with this brand, a simple transition to their new vehicle. But more so than that, I feel the design, the look and the feel, and the thought that's gone behind some of these products is obviously very important. Look at the full feature set on that radio, for example. Everything from a 13-band EQ to Sirius XM to a 5-volt pre-out to ensure you have that audio quality signal. The fact that they have two separate types of amplifiers to cater to your needs and the environment is a testament to their commitment. And lastly, man, who can argue? Nice lights, great aesthetic, and I'm sure those subs are going to pound in that IB environment. I think we have a very, very concrete and very attractive package coming to you from Kenwood for marine audio. If you want more information, make sure you hit up the link to get more info and details on all the products covered on today's show. I want to thank Josh for coming in. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.